Hey, Blade fans, Blade lovers everywhere. OG Blade Reviews back with North Mountain Blade again. What is this guy getting all these North Mountain Blade knives, snaps? A lot of different ones, a lot of different models. If you were down at Blade Show Atlanta recently in 2025, early June, and I wasn't, you would have cruised by their booth and seen all of their, I say booth, table, whatever, and seen all of their different models. And I've got everything from some large Tonto fixed blades down to these smaller variants, folders, button locks, frame locks, front flippers, back flippers, no flippers, whatever your porpoise has. Does your porpoise have flippers or no flippers? I'm getting ridiculous early in the morning. Too much caffeine. Well, here's the box. Really solid. They have some structurally sound boxes. There's their info, how you can get to see them. I noticed that the folks up at White Mountain, I was going to say North Mountain, White Mountain are now carrying a North Mountain. However, this one came directly from North Mountain because the models available at White Mountain are somewhat limited for the time being. But they are carrying a lot of their button lock chops and some of their Lee Williams kickstop folders. All right. Most, if not all, come in a nice plastic, hermetically sealed box. I like it. You don't use it for your knife, you can put your watch or maybe a skinny cell phone in there. You know, those old flip phones maybe. Here it is. And this one they call the Jellyfish. I'm going to take it out and show it to you in a minute. Don't get frustrated. This is known as their Jellyfish 4th generation super smooth M390 blade, hand polished titanium frame, carbon fiber handle. Okay, wow, mouthful. There's some info. All right, you can freeze frame that. And as I'm kind of doing some basic overall specifications, I'm giving you whatever the manufacturer shows on their page. So this is a 3.5-inch blade, 8 inches overall, M390. Stainless steel lock bar insert, and the pocket clip is titanium. And there you go. Got that out of the way pretty quick, but we will use my trusty, newly acquired clear ruler. Let's get this guy out. By now, those of you on the ADD drugs, you know, you're just going flip, 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 forward, forward, forward. Read the text, move on to the next video review, or not. Apologies if you're not one of them. Fairly thick handle. So although I'm not going to pop these up on the screen, when I feel as though it's necessary to give you a reading, there's 15.8 millimeters, I will. 0.62, thick handle, okay? Thick handle, but under 5 ounces, as they're saying. Why is it a thick handle? Well, they're giving us a lot of material here. This is a titanium exposed frame. And, you know, you're paying up there like 280-ish for these. Looks like we've got either titanium or brass or bronzed thumb studs, big ones sticking way out, and you've got a jimped flipper tab. So without further ado, there is the blade. Getting a little closer for you. Hand finished satin, hand rubbed satin finish on that M390 blade, really beautiful. We've got these decorative surrounds for the pivot, T8 hardware there. And looks like we've got one body screw, and that is, I should bring my set out. No, it's a T8. Pretty sure that's a T8. Feels pretty good in the hand. I mean, except for that thickness. And no, there is not a lot of contouring. So if you're fickle and picky about how thick a knife is in your pocket, this might not be the one for you. We have either a bronzed titanium backspacer. Get a little bit of draw from that. Or it could be steel. I'm not sure. But I'm getting a little bit of draw from it. I am not getting anything from the titanium frame because it is titanium. Your lock bar insert is in there. You can see that. Put my magnet back over here. I think we're done with it. I was going to get a fat carbon handled one that had a kind of an inserted inlay of fat carbon, but that one went to Blade Show. So Shane, I believe it's Shane from North Mountain, sent me this one and gave me a little perk. I think I've got a titanium pry bar that came with this knife, but it is an interesting blade shape, a little bit of a recurve there, hence the name Jellyfish maybe, because of the double curve. Forward belly, clip point, really kind of an interesting hollowed clip on that. They did a lot of different machining. There's your Jellyfish mark, and not much else except M390, which is nice. As I said, large thumb studs. They come out to the sides of the handle, and a nicely chamfered release there for the, it's more of a frame lock than a liner lock, but we'll have to call it a liner lock because of the way these are set up. It's really not part of the outer frame. But you can see that liner separate from the handle scale. Easily pushed in, released. Very fidgety with regards to that. I'm going to back out just a little bit before I get off frame here. Yeah, I mean, not what you'd call drop shut, but definitely smooth on bearings. And you can probably see those bearing cages there. The jimping's, I would say, just enough. And look at this. You've got that kind of swoop in there where if you press your forefinger into that recess, recess, and keep going, you'll always hit it. If you don't like that, the thumb studs are really out there, and I can even almost completely reverse flick it with those. Yeah, I can. Love the satin finish. Got a little bit of a swoop in here on the clip. Not perfectly straight. 3.5 inch blade. Let's lay it out here on my fancy $2 ruler from Amazon. So overall, they said 8 inches, right? So it's really like 7 3/4. And if I line that up, yes, 3.5 inch blade, but the overall is shorter than they said, but that's fine because I got the blade length I'm looking for, 3.5 at least. And if we were to go metric on you, overall, we're talking like 19.5 centimeters with a blade of like 9 centimeters, 90 millimeters. And thickness here of the handle, metrically speaking, is about 1.5 centimeters or 15 millimeters. Okay. Feels nice in the hand. That titanium really factors in. And, you're paying for premium materials, about 280 bucks-ish. This was not provided to me for review, just so you know. It's my own thing, and I like it. Whether or not it would see a lot of carry because of that kind of blocky handle, I'm not sure. I tend not to fuss too much about thicker handles. Um, I'm over 200 pounds, so it doesn't bother me. I'm not a big fat boy, but I am on the larger side. Age has tried to shorten me a little bit, however. Let's look at some other North Mountain blades. Here is one that they did send me. Thank you, Shane, for review. This is their button lock SLD Magic Sanmai with the swedge on top. A lot of people don't like that. They say it's not traditional. Well, how many traditional knives are really being made today? They're all takeoffs on traditional knives, or they're whacked out space age stuff if you look at the Reich stuff, which I like. This one is what they call aluminum brass or aluminum bronze, I forget which. It is a ton. You're talking about weight. This one is up there over 6 ounces, I believe, as I recall. But I do thank them for sending that along. They've done a lot of business with their button locks, for sure. Then this one did come from White Mountain. This is a kickstop. There it is. Kickstop chop. Got that independently suspended or pivoted Lee Williams patented kickstop on a really nicely ground Tonto blade. Fair amount of difference here as you look at these blades. Of course, this has got no Tonto implications at all. Finally, one that I liked much more than I thought I would, this front flipper Kaiken. And you notice the Kaiken blade design being more elongated. Someone also mentioned to me that Kaikens typically don't have that swedge on top. But I think Boker started all of that with their run of Kaikens designed by, and I can't recall his name, Todd Burnley. I just did. Todd Burnley was doing a lot with this swedge on top. It doesn't do too much other than relieve a little of the material for pierciness and maybe for lightening the blade a little bit. Otherwise, I think it's mainly aesthetics. But let's see if we line them all up here using the handy dandy ruler. There you go. You can see the differences in length. So the biggest one being the button lock chop in SLD Magic. The shortest one being this kickstop chop. And then this would come in next, perhaps. And this is sort of in between, what have you. Really like this guy much more than I thought I would. It's one to consider. That came directly from North Mountain Blade. This one, as I said, came from White Mountain. And this one came from North Mountain as a review sample. And here we are again back with the Jellyfish. Let's put it up against the Griptilian. Griptilian is almost an inch longer overall. And if we go to the beginning of the handle, the blade is just slightly longer, maybe 1/4 of an inch or a little bit more. Lighter and a bit thinner in the handle. Yeah, a bit thinner, not that much. Yeah, it's a molded FRN, GRN handle. And why not put the Rat 1 out there as well? Of course, it's going to be bigger by 1.25 inches or so overall. And maybe 3/4 of an inch in the blade, something like that. It'd probably have to be more like half an inch or less. Yeah. Got my ruler available. Why not use it? Yeah. So overall, that Rat 1 is 8.5 inches and 7 3/4 there. And the Rat 1 has a blade of somewhere between 3.5 and 3 3/4 inch. No, it's more like 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So the blades are supposed to be the same. Yeah, it depends upon where you measure from. Once you get into compares, you start backtracking and saying, wait a minute, no, I said it was this much more, and it isn't that much more, and so on and so forth. Well, really nice knife. The price is up there. There are some discounts occasionally available. Check out North Mountain for those. Also, check out White Mountain for, I'll send you the link to everything North Mountain on White Mountain. We're going to have a Black Mountain pretty soon? Oh, yeah, probably. Or, I don't know, Gold Mountain, Gold Rush. All right. Well, that is the Jellyfish with all of its other names. And not called a chop, but it is the, once again, Jellyfish 4th generation super smooth M390 blade hand polished titanium. And it does not have a model number that I'm aware of, and there was no model number on the box. So I would suggest to North Mountain that they maybe pick exact names for all their knives and at least give us a model number. But if you order it, they'll know what to send you. Right about now, there is my logo. And one thing I did not do, I'll get back to that ending spiel in a moment. I did not test the sharpness, which is okay. Not exceptional. Why don't you get it out there? Can't see what I'm doing, right? Yeah, I would say that out-of-the-box sharpness could be a little better. Others of their knives have been perfect, no problem. That's an acceptable sharpness, I would say. Would seem to be pretty thin. I mean, it definitely feels like it's got a little bite to it, and it is pretty keen. But not on paper, apparently. But unless you're cutting a lot of paper, you know, use a paper cutter. As I was saying, click that logo that you're seeing right about now, and you'll be brought to a place where you can subscribe to the channel, which I hope you do. I'm slowly growing, but not real fast. But not real fast is fine with me because I can manage it. And even though I've got some time on my hands. Reviewing a lot of knives these days. Come back and see more. I'll be with you soon. Stay safe and be well.